Hi, today we are going to take a look at Thunder and Lightning. You are a Thor or a Loki, and you have lost a really valuable artifact you really need. Otherwise, maybe the Loki will get to the throne or the Thor will get to the throne, so you basically battle each other. It's a battle game for two with the cards. So let's take a look how it plays. So in this game you have two decks. You have Thor's deck and Loki's deck. And the game evolves around playing cards into the battlefield in rows and columns, challenging opponent cards and playing some special ability cards and trying to find one of the two cards. For Thor to win, he must find Odin's crown from the opponent. For the Loki to win, he must find Odin's ring from the opponent, from Thor. So, you're gonna put them aside for a moment for the setup. This one is going aside as well. Each one of you, we're gonna get 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The decks are here, the draw decks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope I can count in English. Let's hope. So, from the 9 cards that you have, you're gonna choose 3 cards that you're gonna put in 3 different columns. Basically in a row as well. So I'm going to put this card, for example, this card, and say this card. So, and let's say that was my opponent, and that's me. I'm going to put, I don't know what cards has my opponent put, so I'm going to put some cards as well. Let's say the Nightmare. So, now, we have the basic setup here. Then we're going to shuffle these cards into respective decks. And now we can play. The gameplay itself, this is the Loki's deck. The gameplay itself is really easy. You have as many action points as you have columns. So we have 1, 2, 3 columns right now in the beginning of the game, so each one of us has 3 action points. If you have, during the game, you will have less columns, you have less points, so 2 action points. That's easy. You can grow your columns up to 4 cards. So I can put, this is the first, second, third, fourth card. So I can grow down, and basically this is the grid 3 by 4. That's the maximum battlefield, your own battlefield and your opponent's battlefield. Now, the gameplay itself. One of the first things you can do, you can choose to use your action point to draw cards. You can use action points to do the same thing. Doesn't really matter what you choose. You can throw just 3 cards and that's basically the whole turn. Is it helpful? I don't know. I think not really, but doesn't matter. So, for example, I use one of my actions to draw cards. The second thing I can do is I can play cards into the battlefield. So I'm going to look at my cards. Let's say these are. Let's first take a look. Here we have cards with number. And we have cards with just a symbol. This is the mythological symbol. These cards are played from your hands as special abilities, special cards, and then they are discarded. Some cards have both the number and the symbol. They can be played on the battlefield, but they have a special ability as well. For example, some cards have special ability when they are on the battlefield. Some cards have special ability when you play them from the hand, but they also have a number, so you can play them just as a regular battlefield card as a number 1. So with a strength of 1. So ravens are the ones that you can play as a special ability or as a unit. So that's the second thing you can do. The third thing you can do on your turn is to challenge opponent's cards. So what you can challenge is only in the first row. So the cards that are basically facing each other, you can challenge them. So with this card, for example, I'm going to say I want to challenge with this card, I'm going to challenge this card. I cannot challenge diagonally, I have to challenge straight. So I will reveal my cards, my opponent will reveal his cards, then we're going to compare the numbers. So there's a 4 and there's a 0. So my opponent should win with his Frost Giant. But the thing is, my card is a Nightmare, and when challenged in a column, discard all cards in its column, yours or an opponent's. When challenged in your hand, discard. So basically this, wait, this card shouldn't be challenging, but let's see. Oh yeah, let's put this one. Let's say it's a female archer. So female archer has a special ability as well. When on the battlefield, may challenge and defeat a shield wall. It can defeat a special card, shield wall. Shield wall is very a strong card. Shield wall can basically kill all the cards. When challenged on the battlefield, this is the shield wall. When challenged on the battlefield, shield wall defeats all cards except for female archer. So the counter to shield wall is female archer. But right now, the opposite is a frost giant. So the female archer works against shield wall and works against maybe the same number or the number lower. Right now the frost giant wins, so this one will go into the discard pile. If I had another card right here, down here, it will shift up. So all the whole column will shift up. That's one of the things. If there's a tie, both cards are discarded. So the last thing you can do, and as I already talked about, these are the mythological cards. You can play mythological cards from your hand for the effects. For example, this one. This is the Vidar. Have the leftmost, rightmost card in your first row challenge any card in your opponent's rightmost, leftmost column. So that's the thing. Now, if I play this card, I can challenge. For example, I play this as an ability. Now, first I had to challenge straight up front, but with this special ability, with this card, I can challenge this card. So let's challenge. I have female archer, and he has a Viking warriors. Okay, I'll lose again. But basically, this is the thing. Or let's say there is a Idun. When Idun is the top card on your discard pile, you win all tied challenges. So if this is top of my discard pile, the ties are broken in my favor. So normally in ties, both cards are discarded, but I win ties if this card is on top of the discard pile. Idun may not be at the top of both players' discard pile at the same time. So if I have mine, there cannot be another one on the opponent's discard pile. So these are some of the abilities. There are many more abilities. You can manipulate discard pile, you can steal cards from your opponents, you can challenge opponent's hands. It's all about finding these items for Thor and for Loki. So whoever finds their item first from opponents is the winner of the game. Or the other winning condition, if you will wipe out all my cards from the battlefield and I begin my turn with 0 cards in the battlefield, I lose. So these are the winning conditions, the losing conditions, and that's how you basically play Thunder and Lightning. Now the first thing I wanted to tell is that this game is a reimplementation of the old game called Hera and Zeus, and here is Zeus and Hera. This is not an English version, but this one was basically language independent. It didn't have any text on the cards. So I will try to compare these two. First of all, this is the Cosmos series, 2-player series that we really like. We haven't tried all of them that we have in our collection. We have, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games from the Cosmos 2-player series. So we're gonna try them all at some point, but it caught my eye. And when we played this one, I really liked it. But there were some negatives, and there are still some negatives in the newer version. I'm gonna tell them as well. But first of all, the first thing is that you're gonna notice is that the newer version has text on the cards. That's one thing. The old version didn't have. In the old version, you had to remember all the abilities and look for them all the time, and it takes a lot of time to look at. And you, of course, if you've played a lot of times, you will memorize. But it's so much easier when you have the text on the cards. And like, even if you don't remember even if you remember, basically, when you look at the cards, you look at the text, and it's so fast. It's much faster than the old version. It's much more like, it gets to that streamlined thing there, where the text on the cards was so crucial that it makes the game much better for me. That's the first thing. The other thing, the cards are bigger, and I like bigger cards. The third thing, the cards have really cool artwork. They don't have any edges. First of all, dark edges, black edges, hate them. Here you have the really beautiful artwork on the whole card, and I even like the Norse mythology better. I like the theme even better, but the theme is basically non-existent. It's a rather abstract two-player battle game. So these are the small things, but I really see there are even graphical improvements on this new version that are making the game much better. Now, let's take a look overall at this game. Now, first of all, this game can take less or more time depending if the Odin's Crown or Odin's Ring will be one of the first cards that you're gonna get, or maybe your opponent will accidentally discover the card in your hand. So that's the matter of luck as well. And now where I'm going is the matter of luck of the draw as well. At the beginning of the game, you're each gonna get 9 cards in your hand, and there's already that small too much luck. You can get a really bad hand of cards. You can get cards that are basically almost every card is like a 1 or 2 strength or mythological symbols. But the battlefield still needs the stronger cards. For example, in one of the games I played, all of my stronger cards, I don't know, maybe just shuffled poorly, I don't know, but all my stronger cards were one of the last cards in the deck, in the whole deck, but I need to dig through the deck all the time. I need to use the action points that are really valuable to get these more powerful cards. So, and it's so hard to encounter, to challenge opponent's cards if you have really like 1, 2, and 3 numbered cards there. But you can do nothing. You can try to use special abilities, but not all special abilities are against your opponent. Most of them are regarding some other things, you know. And although I like luck normally, and in this one I can look past it, but it's a little bit bothers me a little bit. If I take it easily, if I take it like it's a filler type, really fast game, because it went really fast. Basically, you have 3 action points. Normally, you're gonna draw at least 1 card. You're gonna draw a card. Okay, I know exactly. I'm gonna play the cards into this column, and then we're gonna challenge. Or you don't have any like big things, strategies you're trying to do. There is some strategy how you're gonna hide your Odin's Ring or Odin's Crown there. But it's still rather tactical combat game, where it depends what cards you're gonna get and what your opponent has in his field and in his hands. These are the things. This is the luck of the draw that can be a big negative for some folks. I'm gonna point it out right here. On the other hand, I really like the special powers. These are really different. You can steal a card from opponent's discard pile. If a certain card is on top of your discard pile, it gives you a special power, and it's really cool. You want to set up that a little bit of strategy, you know. Or I really like the cards called Ravens, that you can challenge a card from opponent's hands. It's really cool. It's a sort of a push your luck. For example, if you're gonna get the card that is really powerful, you have to put it into the battlefield. Like the cards that is from 2 to 7 strength, if you take it out of opponent's hands, you're gonna put it in his battlefield on his side. So you're gonna basically help him get extra card out. But if it's Odin's Rings or Odin's Crown, depends on what player you are, you're gonna win the game. It's like a big push your luck element. So there's another thing. Will you have this Odin's Ring in your hand and keep it in your hand away from the battlefield, or will you hide it in the battlefield? There's a lot of that bluffing element as well in this game, where you have like, for example, you can do a column where there are only 2 cards, and the second card is the Odin's Ring, and then you're gonna try to bluff by doing another column where you have really strong cards, and the opponent starts thinking like, oh, this column has really strong cards, and it has 4 cards in this column. He must be protecting something. He must be really protecting something. Maybe the last card in this column is a Odin string, so he tries to get through that, but basically the real card that he needs to capture is in the other column. So there's that bluffing element, and I like it in this game. I don't really like bluffing games, but in this game it's quite cool. So no more babbling. Thunder, lightning. Might be negative that it's only for 2, but I like it. If you have a someone to play with, a second person, play it with them, because it has cool artwork, big cards. It's rather fast. If you don't mind randomness and luck of the draw, it's really fun as well. So I really like it, and the Norse mythology, even though the theme is non-existent, is more suitable for me than Hera and Zeus. So this is definitely worth a try. If you're gonna get it on sale, it shouldn't be really expensive. Might be quite cheap, and the whole production value, the whole production is really well done, really cool and really sturdy. So that's Thunder and Lightning.